What's good, y'all? SGG gang, it's your boy GM Smooth back here with the MLB The Show rebuild. Y'all thought we might have been done, huh? We got a little World Series 4-1, got it in 5 games against Arizona. You thought we got up out of here? No. We still want to at least try to defend at least for one more year. So maybe the series keeps going till the next MLB The Show drops. I don't know. That'll depend on the support you guys give. So if you want the series to continue, keep leaving likes, share it out with friends and family, and subscribe if you guys are brand new, if you guys are enjoying the baseball content here. Of course, we'll still keep the college football going up throughout the week, but we'll try to drop this at least 1 or 2 times throughout the week too as well. So that's kind of like the plan, at least for this series. College football and Madden will be taking the main focus, at least here for the next couple months. So as you can see, though, we want to go ahead and try to keep this team rebuilt just in case we do go long term. And I have the ability here to switch because my 3-year contract was up. So we can go to Detroit, Minnesota, or Boston. They wanted us to. But of course, this is the Angels rebuild. So we're staying right here at home. And our hitting coach and farm director both are, well, hitting coach retired. Farm director decided not to re-sign. So we'll have to fill 2 new coaching spots. We want to get this team back to where it's supposed to be. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about any retirements. This Jorge Soler will go to retire an Angel here. You know, he just realized the abilities just weren't there. He definitely was a defensive liability in every aspect. The only thing he could really do is hit and really for power. But with the vision so low, he probably wasn't even hitting that well. So he decides to hang it up. No really other big names here other than like Clayton Kershaw here for the Cardinals. He decides to call his career quits. And he actually ends up being the only person that makes it to the Hall of Fame. Over 3,000 strikeouts, a career 2.65 ERA is, I feel like that's crazy. To having a sub 3 ERA for your career as a starting pitcher, I feel like has to be a phenomenal feat. We'll probably see it, but it's only done by like the top 3% of starting pitchers in the league. So that's great for him. Happy career, happy Hall of Fame journey. And now it's time for us to rebuild this team. So we have a lot of things that we want to focus on. Of course, the first aspect is getting new coaches. You know, I'm looking for the best possible ratings here. Try to get no negatives if we can. So I'm looking through across. I'm seeing a lot of -3s up at the top. Of course, you get some +3s, but the -3s, I just cannot have those big of a differences here. -2 plate discipline, +2 vision though, +2 power and contact. I'll take the lower discipline now. So drop 2 on discipline, but they get better vision, power, and contact. I need to go ahead and make this an offer here. So Akio, he'll go ahead and get a 3-year deal here. And then for our farm director, of course, definitely don't want our fielding getting hurt. No, Carlos, you got to get out the way. Drag bunting actually kind of helped us win the World Series. That was essential in that postseason run. Here goes Jeremy here with all 3 pluses. +3 reaction, 2 contact extra, +1 speed, 1 control. So we'll see if we can offer him here a little 3-year, $4.1 million. But the big deal that we talked about ending last episode, coming into this one, if you guys don't remember, was the fact that we have Mike Trout on a $35 million deal for 3 more years. Christian's on a $30 million deal for 2 more years. And Taylor Ward is on a $17 million deal. That's 3 outfielders, and only 2 of them play in the outfield, but all 3 of them start. And we have Taylor Ward coming off the bench. So the question is, do we keep Yelich at DH? And do I trade Ward? Do I trade both of them away maybe? Do we get rid of Mike Trout being the oldest out of them? But he still at least has a 92 overall, so he's got way more room to fall. Even though he was pretty cold in that postseason run in last year, he's got way more room to fall in his overalls. So I was just looking here to see what Taylor Ward would kind of render for us. You know, what else could be out there as far as possible outfield prospects. To see if anybody had anything they might want to give up with Rays. We've traded with them before. And I do remember they did have an interesting center fielder here. Interesting center field room. Roman Anthony, 23, A potential at 78 overall. Julius Huff, B potential, 74 overall. Maybe they could want to move off one of those 2 guys. It would take a little extra from us. So we'll have to come back and look at that trade maybe a little bit later through free agency after we see what kind of money we need. So obviously qualifying offers here. If they sign the $23 million, they stay here with us, of course. But if they don't decide to go to free agency and somebody else signs them, we get a draft pick. Now, thankfully here, the amounts that they were looking for was less than the qualified offer, so I didn't have to do that because I definitely didn't want to have to sign them for $23 million. I don't think Savale or Buehler earned that much money. Buehler definitely had a great season for us, but not $23 million worth. And then Enrique Hernandez here, he's a great player with position flexibility, but didn't really make it to the major league squad last year, and I don't know if there's a path for him to come up this year. So we might leave him alone. But Aaron Boomer, We're going to offer him a contract because he definitely was essential out of the bullpen as a lefty for us. Walker, I don't mind offering a contract to. He was one of our most solid pitchers through the regular season. I don't know if I'm going to give you 13.9. We'll have to see if we have the budget to kind of fit that in, especially with Aaron Savali looking for 16. We have to see what Reed Detmers is looking for, and if we go for another big name starter. So we'll offer those base contracts there. We don't get our hitting coach there. He goes and signs with somebody else. So now we got to come right back here to the market. See, a lot of the top guys have deals here already. Not really trying to fight with any of these guys, except Tommy Whitmore here. +2 contact, +2 power. Kind of simulating something similar, just no boost to contact, or to plate vision. But I'll still take the boost to power and contact. So Jeremy Hefner takes farm director. Tommy ends up coming with us for hitting coach. We end up swiping away from those other teams. And now we kind of get to open up to the real free agency market. So now we get to select our 40-man roster, offer up our salary arbitration, tender our contracts. And I think now we need to look for a starting pitcher above all else. I really want to get us a big name. We didn't have anybody above a 90. We just had guys play over their overalls, but nobody above a 90 here. And the first thing I see when I click on this, the top 4 free agents, I see a 93 overall starting pitcher there in Logan Gilbert. Now, after winning a World Series, our attraction might go up a little bit for some of these higher tier free agents. Now, I'm willing to bet he will cost me a draft pick if I want him. But that's a move that I'm willing to make here. We're obviously at the point where first round draft picks are not a necessity for us. We are in our World Series window trying to see how many we can get here in the next couple of years. And as far as positional needs, I just know I need outfield and starting pitching. So I just kind of went catcher here just to have a third option. As far as our actual team needs and not positional needs, I definitely want to get a righty as a starter and more righties in our bullpen, because I think we only had like 2 of them in the postseason. In defense was our focus last year. I think I want to go contact this year because we saw that our bats did get slow in that postseason. So here we are in the free agency market, and Logan Gilbert is here as the top level free agent here, 93 overall, best available starting pitcher. He wants 6 years, $33.3 million. And just kind of looking across at some of the other options, there are a couple other 90 options. Jordan Hicks is still here, who we had a couple years back, could be intriguing. Shane McClanahan, who was on the, I think he was on the Red Sox when we faced off against them. So we could steal a rival team's 90 overall, as those are our only 2 options here for 90s. But Logan Gilbert here, he's just been solid across his entire career, sub 3 ERA for his whole career at 3.28, and over the last couple of years, even hitting a couple of 2 ERAs, which we have yet to see from a starter on our team. Shane McClanahan here, he had a 2.63 last year, so a pretty good year overall, but that one hiccup year at the 5 ERA when he was splitting between Toronto and Boston kind of threw me off. We did tattoo him, when we played Boston. Actually, I don't remember if we got to him or not, but we did beat his team though still. And so we're going to be looking at those 2 as far as starters go. Now, as far as positional players, I'm looking for anybody that's a utility guy. I want somebody that has a lot of position flexibility to come off of our bench at least, because I don't think we have that guy on this team just yet. So, I mean, there's like Brendan Donovan here in the outfield. He can play first, second, third, short, and right field. There was a second baseman. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. David. He was also there. There's also Mauricio here, Dublin. He plays basically every position except for catcher. So we have him as a possible option. Brendan Donovan, who the only position he doesn't play is center field. There's Isaac Vargas here, who has a pretty good mix in the infield. Dylan Moore, that's who I was thinking of. Dylan Moore, all around the infield, basically everywhere, but center field he can play. So that's some pretty good position flexibility. So we'll probably be looking to sign a couple of guys like that as the year gets on. We usually have $72.9 million to spend. So first, let's get our lower tier guys taken care of. Let's get Christian Moore moved up to the 40-man roster, because I do not want him picked up in the Rule 5 draft, as he's my only concern. As far as contracts here, we're going to go and make a contract here to Ben Joyce instead of offering him arbitration. I feel like he earned a longer term deal, especially with the flamethrower arm, being able to have that out of the bullpen as a righty. And only wants $6.3 million a season. I don't see why not try to lock this up here in the bullpen just for a multi-year deal there. So a 5-year, $30 million contract there for him. Luke Little was our best arm in the bullpen. Definitely want to lock him up for a couple years here. I'm not mad at all. 27 is pretty young. So a 5-year, $27.5 million deal for him. Reed Detmers, I thought about offering a deal, but with us going after possibly Logan there, I want to save some money for a starting pitcher. So his arbitration is already 11.2. He wants 15 million on a contract if we want to go multi-year. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with the arbitration, just give him the 11.2. So we're not going to offer him a long-term deal. So everybody else got their arbitrations offered. No other contracts were dished out there. So you see, everybody else is going to be basically waiting for their arbitration hearings to go ahead and come back to the squad. And that'll lead us over to our tendered contracts, which you see, big decision yet again this year. Henry Pierre, are we finally offering the long-term deal to him? Oh yeah, I forgot all about Tobias Logan here, who has DH possibility if we wanted to move on from Christian Yelich. He has great vision, great contact, powers in an okay spot. He'd be an okay defender, but we definitely would want to work on the fielding and reaction. But I almost forgot about him. So we can move on from Christian Yelich if we need to, which means that I can have enough room to offer up a huge term deal here to somebody like Henry, who, if we wanted to go on one of those big long-term deals to really lock him up, you know, you're looking at 10 years here, 32 million. And honestly, I think after the 2 seasons he's had, he is worth it for sure. 28 home runs, batting around 250, very clutch arm, decent in defense, which could still use some more improvement. But look at that. All the attributes are basically upper 70s, almost in the 80s. Speed is there. And he's only getting better with the potential to be a full 99 overall, which he could probably be in like a year or two. I think he's worth that 10-year, $320 million contract. So we are going to offer him that biggest blockbuster contract that would be in the series up to this point. I don't think I've ever done that in any one of my series before. And then Carson Williams here. He's only 73, has the A potential, but hasn't come close to reaching it. But he has had good flashes and is great in the on the field. So maybe not a 10-year deal here to lock him up for around 15 million. I don't think he's worth 15 yet. But actually, if we drop the years down a little bit and we go to around 6 million, I can sign him for under 10 million a season, which that I'm okay with. So around like a 6-year deal here, around $56 million. That would put him at $9.3 million a year. So we could have our second biggest deal here thrown out to another young player, getting him locked up. So 2 big deals. Everybody else will probably get contract renewable offers here, just kind of moving them to the bare minimums to go ahead and save some money around that. And that'll finally lock us into free agency here, where we can finally start to look at who is the big names that we're adding. We only have 42 million left after making those moves, and Logan Gilbert is still in the price range without making any trades. So the best thing is going to be to look to see, is he going to be somebody that actually has interest in us and wants to stay here, you know, wants to come here to LA. So he's a very good right-handed pitcher too. Will give us a strong arm to start off our rotation finally, as we had Aaron Savale fill that role for the last couple years. He can finally slide down in the rotation. So I'm still kind of muddling between him and Shane McClanahan, but I think I want to go with the higher overall. They're around roughly the same age, put up roughly the same stats. Shane does bring the strikeouts, so we'd have 2 kind of strikeout guys with him and Detmers if we wanted it. Not as big of a strikeout guy for Logan Gilbert, but I think I'm going to go with overall talent over the strikeout talent, because if he's getting ERAs like this without having to have heavy strikeouts, and he has hit 200 strikeouts before and upper 180s, you know, a couple times in his career, so he can strike guys out. And they're, like I said, the same age here at 30. I'm going to at least see if he's interested. If not, then we'll go to Shane. So we'll at least see what kind of interest level he's giving us. And as far as my utility guy, the first one that we're going to go ahead and take eyes on to see if they want to go ahead and come to the squad, you know, we definitely want to try to maybe look at DH so that we don't have to have Tobias Logan be that guy. He can come off the bench maybe. But Dylan Moore is probably going to be the first guy to look at here. About a 244 average there in Miami. 5 home runs, 33 RBIs. So not going to be a power bat, but can play all over the field. Has a good average, good on base. Brendan Donovan did catch my eye for a little bit with a little bit more power, but I wanted to go more with the on base here. If you look, he plays assortment of pitches. Defense is in a really good spot here, but we will go ahead and try to lock that in here for him then to see if we can get that extra power boost off the bench to make this team that much stronger. So we're going to simulate through one day at a time to see what these percentages go up to. And Henry Pierre signs the deal. 10 years, $320 million. Our second $30 million outfielder here, as Trout's up for $35 million. Right now, Christian Yelich is at $32 million, $33 million. And now Henry becomes the next one at 32 million. Our entire outfield alone costs $90 million. And that's not even including the actual starting center fielder. That's just the DH and 2 corner infielders. They combined together for $90 million deals on this team. So as you can see, it does spread out evenly, 32 million a season for the next 10 years, all the way up to 2037. As he is going nowhere. As you can see here, like I said with the spread here, Christian's at 30, go get 33 next year. Taylor's still on this roster too right now at 17. You see, oh yeah, we have Sal on arbitration, so he's not even going to make that much. But yeah, right now it's basically $100 million into our outfield at this point. I think we need to kind of switch this focus, apparently because it's not working because the bats were cold, and maybe switch more to that into our pitching. So I think it's time we start looking at some trade offers here and start getting some guys moved around. First thing I wanted to look at here was Taylor Ward moving his $17 million, and they want to give me a good closing pitcher prospect, which we could use to move somewhere else because we already have 2 really good ones. But they also want to give me Yennery Cano, a great relief pitcher here to add to our bullpen as a righty. I think we could definitely use that here from the Orioles and use Yennery Cano as another option here in our bullpen, which you always want to keep upgrading year to year because you never know if you're going to get the same kind of stats from a player back-to-back years, especially when it comes to a reliever. So we're going to go ahead and add him to the roster here. You see Kevin Koch here ends up being the lowest out of our closing pitchers, so we probably will end up trading him somewhere to get, better at a different position. But Cano ends up being the 3rd best reliever already off overall, and he's already actually needing a contract here, so we're going to offer him his arbitration, which is going to just cost us about $2.75. So we'll go ahead and offer that, no problem. Now going back to more simulating here to see where we can go as we get to, I think it's every Tuesday is another week here of, yep, there it goes, free agency, as nobody else has signed any big deals yet. It looks like here off the top list. Let's go in and check there. There it is. Carson Williams signs his deal. Ben Joy signs his, and Luke Little signs his as well. 5 years, 27.5, 5 years, 31.5, and 6 years, $55.9 million deals signed up and ready to go as we get those guys locked up. So that helps our bullpen. Gets a surefire shortstop for us, as I think Carson Williams this year will be the main shortstop instead of second base, and moving Neto over after he signs his arbitration. Logan Gilbert here has 54% motivation to sign with. Obviously, a lot of teams interested. Brendan Donovan's only at 38%, so he'll have to stay. But I think I want to be the first one to offer Logan Gilbert a contract because there is a plus 5% boost to motivation to sign if we're the first one to offer him a deal. So I want to look here in the realm of, he's only 30 years old, so even 7 years isn't terrible. We could probably still move off that later in his deal, as long as he's putting up somewhat decent numbers by the time I'm ready to move off of him. Because we moved off starting pitchers before when they got old. So 7 years, $35.9 million deal gives us 60% motivation to sign. So a plus 5 boost that will give us 65% since he is a top 25 free agent. And you see Adley Rutschman here signs a deal with the Pirates, going 5 years, $99.7 million. First big signing of free agency here. We have a contract decision here. Already looking into it, and we've only offered one contract here. So what is he going to do? I see contract sheets in a pen, and we have welcomed Logan Gilbert to the squad. First time I've got needs filled, which is crazy, but a potential starting pitcher here, our new ace of the Los Angeles Angels here, the #1 overall free agent, comes to the World Series winning Angels and helps our pitching staff get stronger. The same pitching staff that basically won us the postseason just got that much more deadly. We add him to an already strong rotation, and I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. This is when I realized I guess I had messed up somewhere. I thought I was adding him to a really strong rotation, but then I come over here and look and notice a lot of names are missing and not filling in here. So I'm, putting our guys in. Samuel's there, Logan's there, Reed's there, Jordan's there. I don't see Aaron Savale, and I don't see Walker Buehler. They're not there. They're not on my roster here. I go check the starting pitchers, and now that I'm editing this back, I realized that they were in the the qualifying offer of free agents, and they never signed. I guess they didn't like their deal, so they're in the open market right now here. So as we get to free agency here, Brian Scott signs with the Phillies. We're about to go and get our week to come back here into free agency. Donovan's up to 47% now. As I check out here how the starting pitching market is looking, as you see some guys are starting to get locked out as we only have 20 million left. So a lot of the top arms are closed out here. And this is when I see that Aaron Savale is actually over here at free agency. He didn't sign our deal, so he's out here in the market just looking to see what's available. And right now, it doesn't look like anybody's offering him a deal. Well, it doesn't show you if anybody's offering a deal like Madden, but nobody's offered him a deal to sign just yet. As the Diamondbacks sign a closer there for him. 40-man rosters need to be set, so nobody's going to the Rule 5 draft, which you already took care of. Justin Steele, second best starting pitcher, I think they're listed, goes to the Mariners to replace Logan Gilbert. So they get their replacement for their ace since we took him. And here goes a rival opportunity. The Athletics want to try to go get Cal Riley here. 4 years, $14.2 million, but I feel really secure with the catchers that we have on roster. I like Victor. I like Logan, especially how the way Logan finished the postseason. I'm staying right where we're at on that. Brendan Donovan is now up to 56%. Nobody's looking at the 50th ranked free agency prospect, so I can stand to let that boost go up a little bit and keep looking here at more starting pitching offers, because in case we lose Aaron and Bueller, we need to have another option. And so I'm looking at these mid-tier starters, trying to look at some of like the younger ones. So like somebody like Christian Javier here, 3.99 ERA, decent stamina, good hit per 9. Everything else is kind of mid-tier to medium. He's had a good string of 4 straight years under 4 ERA though. He's up to an 84 overall now here in the series. I wouldn't be mad at adding him as an addition to the team at all. He only wants $19.7 million, so he would still fit the cap. I didn't really see anybody else that kind of stood out to me, matching the age with the overall with their numbers. Casey Mize is here, has decent numbers, but wasn't like surprised about it. There goes Walker Buehler, still looking for a team. And yeah, we really want to kind of strengthen this up. Then if we're about to lose 2 potential stars, at least we are going to upgrade in overalls, because obviously Logan is way better than both. And if I'm able to get somebody maybe like Severino, there's Sandy Alcantara here at 86 overall, still on the board. He's got a hell of stamina too at 90 overall, but 4.8 ERA last year is kind of coming off a down year. I don't know if I want to accept that coming off a World Series. Anything with a 4 ERA is no go to me. So I'm really looking at Christian here. I think I'm liking him the best out of all the possible options here. I mean, we only went 5-8 last year, started 24 games, but hits were low, home runs were low. So I think I like him there in that spot. William Contreras signing with the Brewers here, 6 years, under $28.7 million deal. As he is set to join their squad here, coming back to free agency now. Javier is up to 77% motivation to sign. Brendan Donovan's at 62%. Hasn't been rumored to talk to anybody yet at 33% verified. So we'll look just a little bit longer then, since nobody's there. I guess no big names are coming up. Looks like the Padres are going to trade for starting pitcher Logan Webb from the Giants, giving up 2 prospects and another starting pitcher that's a vet. Cal Riley ends up going to the Reds instead of the Athletics, so he's going to the NL side. And there goes Walker Buehler reaching out. 85% motivation to sign. You should have signed a contract when we offered it earlier. Good. Now you got your agent over here begging us to bring you back to the squad. You can go in on the board, but our focus right now is on Javier, bringing him to the squad, because it's a big boost. So I'm looking to go ahead and make another trade here. Christian Yelich is my next trade target here. Looking to free up this $30.3 million off the roster, and just looking to see what off rip can be done as far as starting pitchers, to see if there's maybe any prospects that anybody wants to give up. I tried going after Taj Bradley here. He's not signed. I obviously tried going after my favorite target here, Richie Burris, but the White Sox still not willing to move off of him, which is going to be interesting here in a little bit. I even tried here for Trick Skubal, an older veteran, and they were not wanting to make that veteran swap. So instead, I ended up finding here Colin Holderman and Max Schumann. This gives us our utility guy at second, short, left, center, right, and third base. So the only thing he doesn't play is first and catcher. A decent average at 255 was not bad with the Pirates last year. Doesn't have much game experience, but contact's in a decent spot, vision's okay, and defense is pretty good. And we get another reliever in Colin Holderman that can help out our bullpen rotation. So I thought this was a pretty fair trade, especially for an aging Christian Yelich on a $30 million deal. This could probably help the Pirates out at least a little bit, getting somebody, if not as a good DH for them, giving them trade bait to go get some younger prospects. So we end up making that move. So we have $45 million now here. So now I can sign Donovan and Javier if I want to, or Javier and Berlier if I want to. So we're going to offer Christian Javier his contract here. He's wanting around 4 years, $19.7 million. The age that he is at 30 years old, I think 34 is a good time frame there for us. Now I do drop the money here a little bit, staying at 80% here at $17.73 million. So we'll see if he signs that. And of course, we're just gonna have to wait a couple days. Here's Chris Bubick, trades to the Phillies from the Astros, giving up a prospect and the aging starter to go along with it. Javier's coming up with his contract decision and a comedy show. You're still at 80% though. All right. Oh, look, there it is. I told y'all it'll be funny here in a second. They end up dealing him anyway for outfield prospect Connie Ott, who I do remember that we looked at a while ago. We didn't get, but Cesar Cabrera too as well. So Richie Burns is going to the Cardinals. They didn't want to make a deal with us for, I guess, an aging veteran, but they will take those prospects with ease. So here goes the draft lottery. Of course, we have 30th pick, but just wanted to see who ends up with the top slot this year, and it will go to, I forgot they have these GTA loading scenes when it comes to this. The Rockies get the number 1 overall spot, not moving at all. Looks like best odds go to the Blue Jays, up 13 spots into the top 3 from a 0.5% leap. The Guardians and Rays both dropped 5 spots, each going down to 7 and 8. Even though they had equal chance to get that number 1 pick as the Rockies, they end up just falling out of the top 5. So very interesting draft lottery there. We're going back to Christian Javier though on his deal here. He's up to 90% now, after another week of letting his motivation build. So we're going right back basically to the same offer with the motivation building. It gets him at to 86%, which is where he was at last round. Rule 5 draft comes in. We see some of the top teams taking some guys, some of the mid teams taking some guys. I was looking through to see if there was anything, mainly kind of looking at relief pitcher to see if there was anything that would intrigue me. Tony Gosselin was somebody as maybe a long reliever. 74 overall, but he hasn't played in the majors in a while. 91 hit per nine is crazy, but I decided against it. I don't go after him, so we don't go with anything here in this Rule 5 draft. Nobody else picked up anything in the second round, so only a couple guys sifting around and having to start for a new team. But that'll basically do it for the Rule 5 draft. We're kind of coming up to the close of the offseason here. We wrap up our last couple contract additions here as there goes Christian Javier signing on this deal with us finally. 4 years, $17.9 million is what we get him to go for. Almost $2 million less per year that he was asking for. So we save $8 million in total. So now that's 2 huge additions to our rotation. Logan, Javier, 93, 84 boosts, compared to the 84 and 77 that we had last year. Huge overall boost for our rotation. So now it's just about filling up the last couple of spots here on the team. As we check the rotation here, I'm fine with Gilbert, Javier, Detmers, but then I kind of see we're really struggling for that 4 and 5 spot. I'd rather only struggle for a 5 spot. I don't want to struggle for 2 spots in the rotation. So maybe we still look for another starting pitcher, as here comes an option for us. Tanner Hoke, who has maxed motivation at 90%, wants to come to the team at 84 overall. Had a great year last year. Has had 4 straight good years, going sub 3.5 in 3 of the 4. Over 200 innings pitched. Hits are looking very low. Strikeouts are looking minimal. I think we can work with this. He's the 23rd best free agent too, and he actually wants to come here to LA. So maxed at 90%, 4 years, $20.4 million. I think we can lower this a little bit, stay above 80%. We go right here, 4 years, 16 points. Let's go 16.5 million. Let's stay above 80%. Let's offer him this contract and see if we can get our number 4 here then, which we would actually be our number 3 because we moved Reed Detmers down to the 4. And then we're going to come back and offer Brendan Donovan his contract too as well. We still want to try to, even though we did trade for somebody to kind of fill this role, so I'm not too pressed if he doesn't accept it, but this could just be another bench option. Maybe we have 2 guys that have position flexibility, plus he has the ability to play first base, which we don't have a backup at right now at the moment. So he wants 2 years, 14.4. We're going to go 2 years, 12.9 with nobody else looking for him. And one of those 2 is offering or signing a contract here maybe, or rejecting it. I'm seeing another contract on the screen, so we got another signee here, and that is Tanner Hoke. So our 3rd starting pitcher this free agency period. We really went starting pitcher free agency. We're going for starters. We're going for the bench. Our starting lineup is in a good spot as it is. And now look at this rotation. Logan, Christian, Tanner, Reed, and almost rookie of the year last year, Samuel Aldridge, who can only get better. I feel really good about this rotation. Then you look in the bullpen, how strong we look over there. Now, Brendan Donovan does not accept our offer here. He doesn't think we're taking him serious with it. And due to budget constraints, both him and Walker Buehler get taken off the board, as we only have $10.6 million left. So now we're just kind of looking for another bench option here that could either be a bench DH option, bench first base option, just another power bat to come off the bench. So there, of course, there's always Andrew Vaughn as a possible option. There's Emmanuel Rivera here, who also almost hit 220 home runs last year, even though the power numbers are pretty low. There is, let's look here in the outfield. Marcell Ozuna's here. 35 home runs last year, 250 average. Doesn't play any secondary positions. Actually doesn't play defense at all. This is Jorge Soler 2.0. I think he actually might be worse. And then there's Andrew Benintendi, who also has questionable defense, but 20 home runs, 80 RBIs. There's Alec Burleson, who at least has high vision at 88. The ability to play first base, despite actually his fielding abilities being terrible. He's actually just a good thrower of the ball, but batted 250, 314 on base. So Burleson, Vaughn, and Benintendi are my top 3 prospects to look at. So we're going to see what their motivation ratings look like. As Lopez goes to the Orioles, they get another starter for themselves. I'm going to go through a couple of weeks here at a time. Andrew Vaughn, now or never, between the Brewers and Tigers. We're just going to take him off the list there. We're going to go ahead and sign there with Milwaukee. So they signed him for 1 year, $4.45 million instead of 2 years. Shane McClanahan is going back to Boston on a 7-year, $191 million deal. So that's $27 million a season for him. Would have saved us a little bit of money instead of $33 million, but I'm happy with our pick there. Andrew Benintendi is still here with the high motivation of 70. Alec Burleson is high with 77%. Benintendi at 78%. So neither one has any verified usage here, but we really don't have anybody to back up first base. I mean, Victor can, but I'd rather him play backup catcher. In the outfield, we have a couple options like Alexander Canario, who could make his move back up to the majors. He did perform pretty good when he was up here. He can back up first base. So with that being said, let's look at Alec Burleson here. Possibly with a deal. He wants 2 years, $3.3 million. I'm thinking maybe just a 1 year rental, $3.07 million deal, and you're trying to motivate me to sign. It did not work, so he's not gonna come over here for that amount. Let's go ahead and try it again here. Now that we got the motivation up a little bit more again, so he's at 77% motivation to sign. We're giving him basically the same exact contract offer, and this time he's gonna go to the Brewers. They get him for 4 years, $3.4 million. Okay. Go get your money. Then I guess they saw more value in you than we did. So now with only one option left, Andrew Benintendi, we're going to be a little bit more pressed to sign you here. 91% interest though to come here. So we're going to get this deal around. He wants 2 years, $5.6 million. I don't think I need a guy for 2 years, especially at this age. So I don't know. I know 1 year, $5.6 million deal then to see if he wants to come stay here with us. Yes, he will do so. I don't know what this means. Mom said I was a cherub and now I'm an angel. I think that's a biblical reference. After the first time I read it, I was like, I was not understanding, but now I think it's a biblical reference. Actually, now that I'm really thinking, now I said it out loud because I was reading it in my head earlier. Now that I think it out loud, I think it is one. But regardless of all of that, we're trying to look to have a magical second season here, coming off of a World Series victory, and I think we have the team to do it. We've got 3 new additions to our starting rotation, a big arm added to the bullpen, along with bringing back some key guys. Our closing pitchers locked down. Catcher room still looking solid. We need a backup first baseman. We're good. We have a new rookie phenom at second. Third, shorts taken care of. The outfield is balled out with money, and I think the bench has gotten better too as well. So we'll go ahead and simulate our way through the arbitration hearings here as we get the win for Hans. We get the win there for Victor Gonzalez. Reed Detmers, they signed with us too as well. They go with Logan O'Hoppe. Come back to us for Jordan. Come back to us for Burke. Again for Chase. Sal. Bringing back our center fielder, Yaneri. They signed with him, giving him almost double what we offered. And they signed with us for Zach, and then signed with Ruiz for that, signed with Hers for that. So we ended up going 8-4 in our arbitration hitters. I'm not mad at it. It's still winning records. So here goes our final salary looks. Here we have 3 guys still making $30 million plus, as Henry's at 32, Mike's at 35, and Logan's at 35. So we'll have 2 of them locked up long term. Who knows how long Mike Trout stays. We also have Christian with 17, Tanner Hoke with 16, Reed with 11, Jordan with 10. So we have a lot of guys in the double-digit figures, but 3 guys over 30 is what's eating up a huge portion of this budget. So next time out, man, we'll obviously show the end results of the preseason, show who makes it through Grim Reaper week, and we'll get this season kicked off. It will be a very fast-paced season this time around, and kind of get into the postseason. As we know, this team, look at how much better this rotation looks. Look how much better the bullpen looks. It's going to be a dogfight to see who makes the 26-man, especially from a pitcher standpoint. But I think we are locked into the postseason. I don't want to jinx it, so I'm going to knock on wood. But I really do think that we're locked into that postseason, man. So let me know what you guys think about the season. Let me know what you guys think about the offseason moves. Which was your favorite one? Which one do you not agree with? Let me know that down below too. And what are your predictions for next year's record? Leave all that information for me down below, man, so I can see what you guys are feeling. And next time when we come out, we will be looking at trying to get this team back into the postseason. So even the bench is going to have some competition. We have Christian Moore up here for the first time. Is Tobias Logan going to be as good as he looks to be our new DH? Because that's what I'm hoping he can be with the move of Christian Yelich to be gone. Robert Alexander, either one of you guys going to step up and make the rotation? Esteury Ruiz, can he finally stay up here and be a good decision as to why he might lead the league in steals for the first time? If you guys get that joke, you've been here a while. But this team is ready to go. I'm ready for a new season. So it's me, your boy SGG, aka the King of Games, aka GM Smooth, and I will catch you guys in the next episode where we're going to kick off regular season number 4. Later.